So what made you decide District 4?
District 4 is downtown, it's Newtown, it's my neighborhood, Johnson's Lake, it's Sumter Point, it's Emerson Avenue, all the northern part of the city. It's also the Paleo Channel, which is all the controversy lately about the ball fields up there. So when I looked at what really the reason I got into government and got into politics 27 years ago was neighborhoods. So I thought to myself, what's the best use of what Jim Ireton knows about city government? And it is to have a vote on the Salisbury City Council.
A lot of people will probably be asking, why not a third term as mayor?
I'll say this, I am incredibly proud of what we've been able to do with crime rates, even in spite of the recent spate of violence, what we've been able to do downtown, how we've been able to open up government and let sunshine shine on it, and how quickly I have made our government in terms of responding to our citizens. But there's only so much further you can go before that job becomes whack-a-mole, like on the boardwalk every day. So my question is, as I reach my 25th year of teaching and my 26th year in politics, where is it that I want to spend my time? Legislatively, the real change is going to come at the council table, especially when it comes to our neighborhoods. So for the next 4 years, I think that's the best use of my time.
Did Jake Day announcing so early in any way affect your decision not to run again?
No, because you know, from most accounts, I endorsed him on the day that he announced.
So you are looking forward to and had plans initially to be a council member?
No, I didn't make my decision until today when I filled out the papers. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I think it was quoted somewhere that if anybody thought this was going to be an easy transition for me, it's not a transition from being mayor to being a council person. It's a transition from being mayor during the day to having to run a campaign for the next 4 months. You know, that's really going to be the hard part because, you know, things get wrapped up in politics. So, you know, when we take a look at the downtown revitalization, the parking lot that we're negotiating on, that's in this district. When we take a look at the Paleo Channel and what we're talking about with the Henry Park, or the expansion of the park with the county executive, that's going to be in this district. So it's not as if I'm going far from home. And the great part about it is that what we're seeing right now, Emily, is that the district that I created, the second majority district, is the one that has 3 candidates in it right now. I don't know whether or not there'll be a candidate in my race. I don't know if there'll be a candidate in Shaney's race, Councilman Shields. I don't know if there'll be a candidate in Laura's race or Jake's race. But right now, the district that we created to get more representation on the Salisbury City Council has 3 people in it. And that, to me, that's just one of those things that you look at and go, well, damn, we must have done the right thing, because we have all of these people who want to serve now.
Now, you have many achievements in the past years, from 2009 until present day. Safe Streets. Mm-hmm. Is it over $1 million in terms of funding?
Safe Streets is coming up on $1.5 million.
There was a historic 42% drop in crime.
Yep. Yeah, the numbers looking about the same they were in 1992. The first woman police chief, the first woman public works director, the first woman neighborhood services director. All of those things are important to me. I can say this to you, Emily. I appreciate Salisbury over the last 6 years taking the ups and downs with me. I live and breathe this place. As our successes go, I go. As our defeats go, I go. There's a special pulse that goes in my body that lets me know when things are going well. It lets me know when we may be in peril. It enables me to walk neighborhoods like where that gentleman was shot over on Brown Street without any hesitation whatsoever, because I know that the people who live here know that my perspective is different from any other person who's ever sat in my chair.
What do you have to say to the question that you might be stepping away from a very difficult time in the city, considering the lawsuits, considering the question about body cameras?
Body cameras are on their way. The officer that the lawsuit involved no longer works for us. The Luray Chambers things will go on in perpetuity until enough money is given that this employee stops pestering us. All of those things were going to happen. Between now and November, when I hand over the keys to the next mayor, I'm not going to stop working In fact, I'm just seamlessly going to walk into City Hall, and instead of take a left into the mayor's office, I'm going to go one door up and take a left into the city council office. So leaving is not a word that I would say describes the situation that I find myself in.
Okay, and you aren't leaving because you really are going to be taking up some new responsibilities. With the redistricting, with the new situation with the city council, do you think that will change things? You have experience as a city council member. Do you think that will be different from your past experience?
No, I can tell you that whether or not I agreed with a city council person politically or not in the past, everyone has always done a very good job of making sure that when a concern comes in, that it immediately gets to the city administrator and can get to the mayor, because we are legislators, we are not administrators. We do not oversee the department heads. So I'm looking forward to being able to do what I've asked city council members to do for the past 6 years, is quickly get that information to the department head. Our cell phones now have the city app on it, so you can take a picture of it and send it directly to the department. The use of technology, the Wi-Fi downtown, all of those things are designed really for people to take responsibility for what they see. I have the greatest confidence in Tom Stevenson and Julia Glanz in the mayor's office, so I really see no difference, except that maybe for the first couple months I'm going to have to hold up a little bit, sort of put the brakes on and go, hey, remember, your duties have changed.
Now, Jake Day made a very big statement when he announced his intentions to run for the position of mayor. He said that he wants to give Salisbury the city they deserve. Do you have any answer to that?
Every one of us, let me put it to you this way. When I announced, I began by reading the Declaration of Independence, which said when in the course of human events, people have to throw off the yoke of their government and do something different. I mean, I think that was incredibly soaring rhetoric. I think that all of us want to give Salisbury the city it deserves, that our citizens deserve. And I marvel at the rhetoric. I love the rhetoric. I think it's great. I think it says that elections are about what we can be and what we can become. And Mr. Day succeeding means that all of us succeed, and that can only be good for town, for Salisbury.
Now, aside from all the other things we talked about, there's also been this continued tension with the county, getting things done in terms of fire services, in terms of just services in general, in terms of taxes for the people in Salisbury. What do you have to say to Jake Day if he ends up being the new mayor of Salisbury, or whoever it is that ends up running against him? There's still 8 days to file. What do you have to say to the next person who had to step into your shoes?
I think when you look at historically, this is a problem that's 50 years old. This has plagued every mayor since the 1970s, and it is a constant state of mind by county leaders that somehow Delmar, Fruitland, and Salisbury sort of are second class, that we're going to take your taxes from you, but we're not going to reimburse you for the services we don't provide you. We're going to take your fire services, but not pay you for it. My approach to it is different from Jake's. Mayor Martin, Mayor Tillman, let's set up a meeting, see what happens. Jim Ireton's was, we're going to stop this. But only by saying we're going to stop this have we gotten them to the table. And I'm not going to tell you that wasn't a bit of a tag team with Jim Ireton and Jake Day saying, I'll get them to the table, you go to the table. It was a matter of doing what you're good at. Mine was, here it is. This is what we're going to do if you don't get your act together. They decided to come to the table. Jake said, I think I can negotiate this. We'll see what happens. Do I have confidence on behalf of the county that they'll do something? No. Do I have confidence in Jim Ireton and Jake Day? Yes.
Do you feel any reservations from stepping away from the responsibility?
Of course I do. Of course I do. This has been, I realize, Emily, that I am living the first line of my obituary. And it has been always important to me, knowing that I was a kid from a broken home, a mother who never made any more than $32,000 a year and moved 6 times in Salisbury before I was out of elementary school. We had a tough life, and the idea that I could go to college and go to graduate school and become a teacher and mayor of my hometown, yes, it's going to be hard to step away from. But I am never away from the grocery store. I am never away from the mall. I am never away from downtown, where people are going to engage me and talk to me because they know that they can. My perspective is one of someone who wasn't born into the privileged class. Mine is one where my perspective is and will always be of families living in neighborhoods who are trying to get up and go to work and get their kids to school. So when a neighborhood goes off the deep end, a neighborhood, when the block gets hot, as we like to say in this business, someone's got to be there to understand. Someone's got to be there to always be ready to take up the idea of the river getting healthier, and I'm going to be there to help the new mayor do that. You know, we're getting ready to re-kickstart Cities United. This idea that we need to make sure that our young African American males aren't dying and going to prison before they're supposed to. I don't know if the other mayors in the history of Salisbury took up those things. And to be perfectly honest with you, I don't care. This is what I came to do. These are the things I came to talk about. I recognize that has made some people in the establishment uncomfortable. And to be perfectly honest with you, Emily, I'm not worried about it one bit. Now,
you're going to be mayor for
another 5 months, yeah.
But why should folks vote for you? Right now, you're running unopposed for District 4, but should somebody else file, why would you make the best candidate?
Because there will be some differences between myself, Mayor Day, and the other council members. And the difference is going to be is that I am not, as I have not for the last 6 years, put up with any nonsense from landlords. None. Zero. And if it makes the new mayor or the new council uncomfortable, so be it. I've been making the other people uncomfortable for 6 years, talking about what's happening in our neighborhoods. If we are going to save our single-family neighborhoods, we need to make sure that our laws are clear about what we'll accept. We need to make sure that our laws are clear about how many unrelated people should be living in a house. We need to be clear that there are too many people in Salisbury paying too much for rent and that's keeping money out of our economy. I am for economic development, but I am more for economic than I am for development. We need to give breaks and we need to give upward economic mobility to people who are going to spend money in this economy, not turn around and give it to people who have already made their millions off this economy in Salisbury, off the backs of the people who live.
5 months left. What are your goals for those 5 months?
Well, the 5 months are this. A, get this Paleo Channel thing done and behind us. B, get this Cities United thing, this coalition about Black lives, get that ready to hand off to the next mayor. Again, approach our neighborhoods with the idea that we have to live peacefully with the university, but we cannot let landlords continue to make money off of us while they denigrate our neighborhoods and deplete our housing stock and make it harder for single families to live there. The next 5 months are going to be about the same things they've always been about, Emily. It's charting a new course for continuing to improve the health of the Wycomico River. It's downtown revitalization and the redevelopment of parking lots numbers 1 and 11. It is neighborhood integrity and making sure that our landlords continue to treat our single-family neighborhoods with respect. And it will be about working on economic equality, talking about rents, talking about what it means to spend 70% of what you make on rent and how we can help stimulate the economy here without giving breaks to businesses that don't need them.
So just add another hat.
Just add another hat, knocking on doors. You know, I know every one of these neighborhoods and these places like the back of my hand. So
it's not like you're new to the whole election process.
No, not at all.